Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima. Book 1. Air. Chapter 11. Mending Fences. The storm gremlins turned to look when they heard San coming through the door. Jack Thunder was the first to speak. "Oh, Mr. San, you're back. How did it go?" "Don't worry, I didn't need too much. They just washed and combed through my feathers is all." He cracked a smile for just a second before resuming his stoic attitude. Jack Thunder's head dropped. I just wanted to say I'm sorry." "Sorry about what?" "About earlier. About snapping at you. About taking on the wendigo by myself. Maybe I should have listened to you." "Jack," San replied, "if you hadn't gone after the wendigo, your friend here would still be languishing in that cave. You've more than proved yourself worthy of wielding Stormbringer. Maybe you were a bit impulsive, but your heart is clearly in the right place. I admit I had my doubts about you earlier, but now I see that you're the best hope we have of saving our world." Jack Thunder couldn't believe what he was hearing. San thought he could handle it. Half of him was overjoyed and the other half was terrified. This was what he'd always wanted. He wanted to wield the staff from the very beginning. He wanted to measure up to San's hopes. But this was all starting to become too real for his liking. Not wanting to ponder it longer, he turned to Terry. "How did you get infected anyway? What reason would you have to make a deal with a wendigo?" "I didn't make a deal, Jack. I didn't even know it had infected me until a few days ago. When I saw how you were training under San, I was so jealous. I started to have doubts about myself. I started thinking that maybe I should stop being so lazy and try and find a purpose in life. I think that's how the wendigo got to me. It was just reflecting my own thoughts back to me, so I thought nothing of it. It was only when it started draining the rest of Tempest Island alongside me and that black fluid began dripping out of my mouth that I discovered the truth. I hid myself in the cave to protect the rest of the village, but..." Terry sighed. "Clearly it didn't work." Jack Thunder paused. Was that really how Terry felt? "You were jealous of me?" he asked, bemused. "Yes, why are you so surprised?" "Terry, you have the perfect life. I mean, everyone in the village loves you. You're a surfing champion both here and out on the surface. Meanwhile, I just summon storms that I can't control and cause havoc wherever I go. You didn't even lose your parents in the war like I did," Jack Thunder barked, his voice suddenly full of anguish. "If anyone should be wielding this staff, it's you." "No, I shouldn't, Jack," Terry countered firmly. "All I can do is clear the clouds away and surf. I don't have the drive to learn magic that you do. I'm sure you know more about magic than anyone in this village. But you're not just knowledgeable, you're brave. San's right. You're the best hope we have of saving our world." A heavy silence fell between them. Neither one knew what to say. Jack Thunder was the first to break the silence. Well, I think I need to be getting home now. Frosty's probably getting worried." "Wait." Jack Thunder paused. "If there's anything I can do to help, just call me. I'll help in any way I can." "All right, I'm gonna hold you to that." They both laughed. With their final goodbyes spoken, Jack Thunder and San left the room, and the spa, behind in the darkness. Jack Thunder sat on his bed. Razor was curled up beside him, snoring away. The storm gremlin was still trying to process the events of the day. He wondered if it had all been a dream, but the constant sting of his cleaned-up scrapes and aching muscles told him otherwise. Despite his exhaustion, he could not join Razor in rest just yet. San had gone into the other room to talk to Frosty. He couldn't hear them at all from where he was, and he was in no condition to get out of his bed to snoop. All he had the energy to do right now was sit and stare at the wall, listening to the rain pattering against his window. It was a sound he'd fallen asleep to many times, but tonight it only made the anticipation eat at him more. "I wish they would hurry up and tell me what's going to happen so I can sleep." He jumped as he heard the knob click and the door open. "Jackie, are you still awake?" his sister called. Jack Thunder nodded. Frosty started. She sighed. San told me about what happened today. He really respects what you did to save Terry. She took a deep breath. Maybe he's right. Maybe you are the best hope we have of saving our world. Jack Thunder stared blankly, not sure what to say. Look, Jackie, I didn't take Stormbringer away just because I thought you couldn't handle it. I didn't want you wielding it because I was scared. I was scared that you would end up dead, just like our mom and dad. She had tears in her eyes as she spoke. Frosty, Jack Thunder replied. I was thinking of them myself. I know they died protecting this world. I want them to have been proud of me. They would have been very proud of who you've become. It's not just that. I just get the feeling that if I become the new air champion, someday I'll be able to keep someone else from losing their mom and dad like we did. That's all I want. I know, honey, she replied, pulling her brother into an embrace. I shouldn't worry so much. Me and San will be right there by your side. Just promise me one thing, okay? Jack Thunder nodded. If you go out there and get killed, you have to let me die too, all right? Deal. They continued to listen to the rain falling on the roof. Tomorrow the quest would begin, but for now, they could just rest.